Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Northwest Fishing Fanatics River Fishing with Gene. That's me, your cold, wet, frozen, soaked through, humble host. Today, I'm going to be showing you a new part of the river. I'm going to be picking up gear as we go. I'm going to try to find a goose if we can find one. And we're also going to try to catch a steelhead. So maybe the first fish of 2024 will be a nice chrome steelhead. Stay tuned and I'll show you exactly what they are and how I'm going to rig them. Previously on Northwest Fishing Fanatics. That's not bad. Oh yeah, come on. Let's go. Whoa, 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 whoa. We went back to the bottom. Got myself a steely, baby. Well, it is going to be a wet one for a few days. I think there's a storm supposed to be moving in too. Don't mind snow at all. Well, at least I don't have leaves to deal with. Okay, let me grab the rest of my things. Okay. Let me get some light going on here. See what the river looks like. Okay, it looks like there's a clearing of sky here for a second. Looks like the rain stopped. That's good. So let's go grab this thing and see if we can't find what we're looking for. All right. Oh, there's one right off the bat right there. There's one, there's another one. And there's another one right there. So that's three. These are old school Okie drifters. I know that these have been in this jar, or there's a bunch of them actually. Come here. Oh, where are they at? I know that these have been in this jar for at least 20, 25 years. And what I want to do is I just want to compare the old ones. I want to compare the old ones to the new ones. I have in this bag brand new Okie drifters. So we'll do a quick buoyancy test on these as well. The Okie drifters were given to me by a company, I'll tell you who they are later, that wanted me to review one of their products, and then they just included these in the package. So these are the new style Okie drifters that we're going to be fishing with tomorrow, not today. And then I've got one more thing in this bag here that I'm not going to tell you about today. I'm going to tell you about this tomorrow. Cold water. Okay, so I'm going to drop in the old one first. Now let me drop in a new one. It looks like about 50% of the Okie is floating. Well, based on what I see, it looks like they both float about the same. So as far as this comparison goes, I think the new ones are going to be better simply because of the way it refracts and reflects the light. Now what I'm going to do for the rest of the night is retie all my gear so I can fish tomorrow. And tomorrow I will show you the other secret weapon that I'm going to be reviewing and fishing for the first time. Now, actually, fishing these Okie drifters is going to be for the first time too, because I've never fished those. I've always had them, but I've never used them. But tomorrow is going to be a new dawn of a new era. See you then. Bye now. With this much water, I don't really need to shoot out of my boat launch. I can just ease my way out across the river and float. Man alive, it is. I am not kidding you. It is storming. Today I think is the 9th of January. The weather forecast says winds to 20 knots. And it's raining and cold. Barely 40 degrees right now. Oh, what am I doing? No point in putting my gloves on, they're just going to get wet. And they're bulky, so I can't, use my hands when I'm wearing my gloves. I hope the audio is okay on this video. The last couple of videos I made, I didn't have my wireless mics because the battery life wasn't lasting as advertised. And so I'm going to have to take these down. Oh no, it's too dark out. So I sent them back to Rode, and I had them for a year, and they worked great up to a few months ago, and the battery life started going down. They were only lasting for about 4.5 hours. They're supposed to last for 7. And so they had me send them back. I had the 2-year extended warranty, and they sent me new ones. So I actually have the mics, but I don't want to have them out here in the rain where they might get damaged. So, man, I can't see anything with the water. I'm gonna take them down. It's gonna be challenging. Very challenging here. There should be some steelhead down here. Right now we are about 1 mile downriver. I am now about 2 miles downriver. We are about 4 miles downriver now. We are now about 5 miles downriver. I'm having second thoughts about drifting all the way down 10 miles. I'm thinking I might make a few drifts through Blue Creek and fish for steelhead. Oh, I think I'll do that instead. River today is flowing at about 52 or to 55, somewhere around there. Last time I was down there, it was almost 10,000 cubic feet per second. So it's half as much water today as there was the last time I was here. I did get a couple of geese the last time I was here. Take a look at this. I was drifting down and all of a sudden they were just right there. Drop 2. It's pretty cool. I've got one regular drift rod here set up with about a 4-foot leader, 5-foot leader, and an Okie drifter pinned with a bobber stopper and a little bead about 3 or 4 inches above a number 4 red hook. Got my standard bobber dog set up, about a 5-foot leader, 4 or 5-foot leader, and I got that bead right there pinned about 3 foot above a number 4 hook. I'll show you this bead a little bit later, but let's see how it fishes first. if we don't catch one, I'm not going to attribute it to the, you know, to the gear or my fishing methods. We'll attribute it to the lack of fish. How's that? Well, there's nobody here except for one boat. I am here all by myself because he's leaving, it looks like. I'm gonna make one pass with this bead, and then the next pass is going to be with the ogie, and then the next one will be with the drift rod. And I didn't even bring any eggs, which is crazy, huh? Okay, drift number 2 with the okie on the bobber dogging rod. Okay, some heavier weight on there. This is drift number 4, and I was supposed to be doing my float rod, but my float rod was all tangled up and I didn't want to miss the top of that drift, so I just grabbed the, the other rod that I had set up, my bobber dogging rod with the okie on it. Sometimes you just have to adapt. We got something small on here. We got something small. Unbelievable. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got here? Okay, this is my 6th drift. This one I've just got a float, free floating bead. Okay, this is drift number 8. And I've got a larger, I think it's a 16 millimeter kind of pearl translucent bead on here. Man, everything is a wee bit wet. Okay. Got this bead here on there this time around. First drift at the wall. Fish are making me work today. Man, that wind is really boogering up my drift here. Drift number 2 at the wall with drift gear and a big orange bead. Well, I think since we're down here and we're not catching any fish, let's take a drift down to this other big slough down here and see if we might be able to find a goose. It's around the corner, about a mile. I guess how far I go down depends on how miserable it gets. It's starting to rain again. I love it out here though. You might think I'm crazy. Been out here all day in the freezing cold, freezing rain, wind blowing in my face. Can't tie knots because my hands are frozen. Gotta chill. Gonna have to take a hot shower when I get home. But it's what we do, right? Whew, this has never happened before, but I think I'm soaking through the waterproof jacket here. Wind is blowing up river like crazy. And I don't know if you can see that eagle's nest up there. It's huge. It's the biggest eagle's nest I've ever seen. It's giant. I mean, my guess, you know, it's in a tree where that breaks off into 3 like that. And I would guess that it's got to be 6 feet, probably 6 or 8 feet across. It's the biggest eagle's nest I've ever seen. The wind is blowing so hard upriver, I'm barely going down. I wonder if those cows are cold. Probably not. Well, I haven't made it to the slough yet because I was floating by this spot, and it is just, it's got gear everywhere. I see corkies. There's 3 bobber dogging floats that have drifted up in here. So I'm gonna go collect some. Oh, there's a bobber dogging float. It's a good one too. Oh yes, it's a perfect float. There's a corky. Now there's a bunch more corkies. Make sure my boat doesn't float away on me. Okay, that's one. Thing is, I don't know how deep this is over here. Good thing I had my waders on. Bobber dogger. Oh, there's another good float over there, but let's see. Should be able to get to it. It's like a good grassy knoll here. Don't want to step off into something too deep though. There we go. Look at that. All kinds of gear here. Oh, and look at there. A diver. It's a diver. Keeping on my boat. It'd be a hell of an OB all the way down here. Have my boat float away on me. I would be screwed if for some reason my boat got away from me while I was doing this. Okay, I better quit. I better quit while I'm ahead. Come here, Jan. Okay, so look. I got 3 floats, 2 bobber dogging floats, a diver, and a whole handful of corkies. Oh, look at that. Nothing. We're just gonna zip right out of here. I was switching back and forth from shrimp, anchovy, bloody tuna. None of them did any good. Well, we didn't catch any fish today, but thank you for tuning in to this episode. I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. I'm sure there's going to be something that you're going to want to watch in the future. But let me show you what I was using today and how I was rigging them up. I was using these new Oki drifters. You've seen the comparison that we did yesterday. And I was using these mercurial beads. These actually work really good. I didn't catch any fish with them other than that whitefish, but the way these things are designed, it's pretty cool. It's got a spiral groove in it, and they come with bobber stoppers that get plugged into one end, so you can easily just take this bead off your line and switch out to another color at any time. It's really simple. The bobber stopper keeps it suspended up on your line, kind of like with any soft bead application. And you can see the groove in them, and you just peg that above the hook. Then the Oki drifters, I was setting them up the same way. Pegged at the bottom, letting them slide, and you know, with the current it's going to end up down there by the hook anyway. So with the float setup, oh, here comes the rain again. That sounds like a song. Float's going to be up, your weight's going to be down, and then what I did was I chose to use a neutral. That way when the weight is floating like this thing would be floating out here somewhere away from the weight. Hopefully you can see that. Now, I don't know how these are supposed to be rigged up. I just rigged them up this way thinking that would, you know, it makes the most sense to me. And with the float rig here, I used a neutral bead so it would stay kind of even in the column with it. And on the bobber dogging rigs, because the bobber dogging weight is at the bottom, I used a floating bead. The way the weight is on the bottom and the bead would be up a little bit higher up in the strike zone. That was my thinking anyway. Look at this weather. Oh my God, it's terrible. I'm gonna put some of these rods away I've got 6 miles to run upriver in this pouring rain. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. If you liked this video, be sure to check out our other videos where you'll join us on the ocean catching kings and silver salmon, lakes catching kokanee trout and landlocked coho. We'll also be working our riverfront homestead and harvesting venison. Stay tuned for more fishing and hunting and outdoor adventure videos. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button so you get notifications of new uploads. Thank you for watching.